Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening and welcome. We're battling the tech, but we're getting there. Hope you're all okay. I've not been live here for a little while, so if you're watching live and you can see me, please drop me a hello or a comment. We're live on Facebook and on that there YouTube, so it's nice to see you today. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Heidi Mavir. I'm the founder of EOTAS Matters. We work supporting parents and carers of neurodivergent kids, particularly those with barriers to attendance who need help unlocking education for their autistic or otherwise neurodivergent learners. And as part of my information gathering, sharing, putting wonderful people in front of you, I'm holding a number of interviews and I'm interviewing people from my world. And tonight we're chatting to Debs Hayward from Aced Qualifications. Hello, Debs.
Hi.
So whilst Debs gives you a little bit of a preamble, I'm going to do a little bit of cheeky sharing on my laptop. If I look distracted, that's why. Debs, just tell us a little bit about you, how you got here and what Aced Communications do, if you don't mind.
No problem at all. I'm just going to say it's Aced Qualifications.
Did I say communications again?
No, I know. It's one of those things that once you've got it into your head.
I said it to you when we were in the preamble. I was like, don't say communications, say qualifications. Qualifications.
There we go. Well, we said it 3 times now, so
we're right.
Good. So yeah, I'm Debs. A long time ago, I was in mainstream education. I was a teacher of design technology, art, photography, and I loved teaching young adults, young people, creative learners that were really passionate about creative subjects. And I kind of fell out of teaching for a number of reasons, but fell into working with home educated learners and really kind of discovered there was a massive need for creative, flexible, accessible courses, as well as having the opportunity to gain a recognised qualification from that as well. So kind of once my eyes had been opened to that, I really saw that we needed way more vocational courses that were open to a number of learners, maybe elective home educated learners, maybe learners out of mainstream, maybe with EOTAS packages, but something that would be able to cater for those learners that want to do something creative. You know, there needed to be more options, more flexibility, and more methods of being able to kind of get to the same place, that you needed those options available. And so hopefully we're able to provide one resource, one option, one pathway into accessing creative and vocational qualifications. So that's me in a nutshell.
And I think that's something that comes up a lot, isn't it? When we've got learners who are learning differently, whether that's because they've got EOTAS or they're homeschooled or home educated, or they're, for whatever reason, they're not in the mainstream system, or they need something to top up. And when we've got learners like that, there seems to be a lot of focus on, not that this isn't important for some people, but a lot of focus on, literacy skills or numeracy skills. And for those young people or children who are not that way inclined, there isn't a lot that they can access, right? And it isn't prioritized. And I see this all the time within our EOTAS community. Like, well, I'm being offered maths and English, but actually my kid is really keen on art and photography, and I'm really struggling to find them something. So, yeah, I'm so pleased that works. And for yourself, why did you decide to do that in this way? Because you work exclusively online, right? You only work online. And what's that about for you? Like, how does that tie in with the way that you offer things?
It basically opens up the doors. So I would love to be able to teach one-to-one, but actually that would be really limited in the number of learners that I would be able to help. And so by moving it onto online, it just meant that we would be able to help more people. As I said, there's kind of a real limited options. There are some options, but like you said, there are many options of I don't know, completed maths or English online. There's IGCSEs, functional skills, and a lot of companies that are providing, or different kind of educational providers are offering those services, which can be completed online. But they're kind of negating all the creative side of things, and that's a real shame. I just think there needs to be those options, but also a different way of learning as well. I'm a massive, massive fan of vocational courses generally. I took them, I used to teach them. I, deliberately chose them over other GCSEs and say A-levels for creative subjects, because I saw kind of the opportunity to be able to get the learners to be able to explore the subjects that they're really, or the themes and topics that they're really interested in, while building a brilliant portfolio. And vocational qualifications kind of gives you that opportunity to be able to do that a little bit more, I would say, than straightforward GCSEs or A-levels.
Yeah. And what you do sits alongside, other options as well. So if people are doing, whether that be IGCSEs or functional skills or what have you, you're giving them that pathway that means that either for and of itself, if they want to study something to get their creative juices flowing, or to do something that's creatively engaging for them, or if they want to go on to further study, you're creating that pathway for them, right? So that if they wanted to then go on to do a creative subject at college, they're not starting, or they're not standing with a nothing in the bank in terms of no, inverted commas, formal qualifications, because your qualifications do have an equivalent, right? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was really important for us to make sure that they were recognised and accredited courses. We use the awarding body NCFE. They're an awarding body that I've used when I was a teacher over 10 years ago now. And so they are kind of a well-known and well-regarded awarding body, even perhaps people may not have heard of them. So they offer level 2s, level 3s, level 1s, and these are comparable to GCSEs. So a level 2 qualification generally is comparable to a GCSE grade A to C, 4 to 9. But what you have to be careful of is, when you're looking at qualifications, is making sure that you're also looking at something called the credit value as well. So sometimes you might see a qualification that is posted as a level 2 qualification, meaning that the type of work that you'll be doing would be level 2 a GCSE. However, the course isn't worth a whole GCSE. And therefore, that makes it a little bit tricky for colleges to recognise that as an equivalent to GCSE. So that would be my number one top tip, is to, you don't have to come to me for a creative or vocational course, but when you're looking for them, make sure that you have a look at the awarding body, the level, and the credit value as well. So for a level 2, you're looking at a credit value of, I would look for a minimum of 12 upwards, because an average GCSE would have 12 to 15 credit value. And you should be able to ask the provider who you're researching the qualifications with, is to ask for that information so that you can make an informed decision. And then my second top tip would be to always double check with your local college as well, just to be safe and secure, because each college can choose their own policies and admissions policy. So it's a little bit different from level 3 and EOTAS points. There isn't a absolute guarantee that a college will accept a level 2. However, so far, we've found that 100% of our learners have had, when going to college, have had a Aced qualification course accepted in place of 1 GCSE. And some of our courses are more comparable to 2 GCSEs. And I'll say about 75 to 80% of the colleges or learners that have gone on to colleges will accept our art and our sport in place of 2 GCSEs as well. So we'd always say just double check that that information if you are relying on that. You know, because sometimes colleges, like you said, they ask for the magic 5, don't they? And so you're wanting to make sure you've got that in the bag. On top of that, you'll have an amazing portfolio to show them as well, which you know, does mean something.
And I know we were talking the other day, weren't we, about a learner that you had, and one of the things that you have done and continue to do and are looking at doing, like kind of streamlining a little bit more, is for learners who come to you through Aced Qualifications, you can give them the documentation they need to give to their college or institution to say, this is the qualification I've got, here's the certificate, and here's the background information that you need, and this is the website to go and look at to check that it is approved and it is affiliated correctly and it is going to give me the points that I need to get onto this course. Absolutely. So you're doing that little bit extra as well for them, right? As well as they're just like throwing the stuff at them and going, off you go. You've got that kind of like package of aftercare, I guess, for want of a better word, in with your offer.
The one thing that's so important to us is that, one, we're flexible generally, and 2, we're like a little community. We're a small provider. It's mostly me behind the scene, as in terms of a full-time person. I do have other part-time assessors who are amazing, who help me along the way. But if you're emailing, if you're messaging, if you're writing a support ticket, it's going to be me that's getting back to you. So I think that means that we kind of build up those relationships with people. But generally, I really want to help people. And if you've come up with any kind of additional support needs, we're always here to help and do whatever we can. And if that means, like you said, aftercare, a learner help, I need to make sure that my college is going to accept that. You know, I've been known to put together some documents, like you said, I can stream like that and put it all onto the website, that put together documents and emails to help that process become a little bit more smoother in transition. Because let's face it, if your learner's going off to college, it's a massive deal in itself, and you really don't need any kind of added anxiety. So anything we can do to help that transition might be helpful for you and your family.
And that's one of the things I've heard from you when we've been talking, and we've spoken a few times, and I get from you this real sense of that you really care about your learners and what happens to them, and it's not just about providing them with qualifications. You've got this kind of like, I think this is probably down to your background and also just the way you are as a person. You've got this really, really genuine affection for your learners, and that you really kind of feel like a sense of duty and responsibility to them, and you want what's best for them beyond just, are they going to complete the qualification? I know you really care, is what I'm saying. Because I know we've had lots of conversations, and I've been like, I know you really care about this. And you're like, I do.
I know. Well, you know, let's face it, that's kind of why I went into teaching in the first place. Yes, it didn't necessarily go the way I wanted it to. And yes, I kind of stepped away thinking, maybe there's a better way, or maybe there's a different way. But me walking into that profession was for a reason. And that was because, you know, I care about helping young people and really help kind of trying to draw out the creativity out of people, and showing them what they can actually do, and if they want to make a career out of it, they can do, or if they're doing it for the love of it, or whether they're doing it to help their confidence building, whatever their reason for doing the qualification. Not all the learners are going to be wanting to do, you know, a degree in fine art, for example, but they're there because they have an enjoyment of the subjects, and that's absolutely good enough as well. You know, I think there's a bit of a snobbery over kind of crafts, and I don't understand that at all, because it's all part of the same creative personality for me. And if you've got a passion into anything kind of creative, then doing a course would be kind of right up your street. And yeah, I've kind of gone off tangent there, haven't I, Heidi?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. It's great. Off script is fine. So talk to me a little bit about the courses that you have running at the moment. Maybe speak a little bit about the ones that you really love, or they're really popular, because I've got a number of options. But talk to me about the ones that you're kind of like onboarding people for at the moment, and what those look like and how that's delivered.
So we started off with our art and design course. That's probably, I would say, our most popular course. Followed up with a qualification in sport. And then we brought in our photography, which is kind of my second main passion. And our last course that we've introduced was our graphic design. So our art and design, sport, and photography are all level 2 qualifications. And as I said, our most recent qualification is a level 1 graphic design. So a number of reasons for that. I do get asked all the time, why level 1 in graphic design? 2, there wasn't a level 2 qualification through NCFE as my awarding body that is titled graphic design. That is exam free, 100% portfolio, and I was able to deliver it online. So lots of qualifications will have certain criteria and restrictions. So that was one thing. And it put me off actually delivering it for quite a while, until I realized, actually, I think it's quite good to have something that is a little less demanding, maybe an access course, but also the skills. We've centered it all around using the design software Canva. So along with learning kind of the general skills of being a graphic designer, it also teaches you how to use Canva. So if you're, I don't know, a young entrepreneur and you want to start your own business, you want to know about branding and logo design and creating social media posts and all that kind of thing, the whole course is centered around that. So that made it quite an exciting option for me. So actually, I really love that option as well. So
and nice and accessible as well then for learners who aren't as confident in their own abilities, or who are kind of like, oh, I'm interested in that, but I don't want to dive straight into a level 2, a GCSE equivalent. Is it a kind of on a par in terms of equivalence to a functional skills qualification? It's kind of an entry level kind of get to grips with qualification, would you say?
Technically, it's above entry level in terms of, if we're talking entry level as the accreditation. Yeah. So a level 1 is comparable to a GCSE, but D to G grade, or 1 to 3. So it's still actually equivalent to a GCSE, but a lower grading version. And that's the definition between a level 1 and a level 2 for all courses as well.
Amazing. So if someone wants to come and join you, you have intakes throughout the year, is that right? They don't have to join at the beginning of a term, or what does that look like? What's the learner journey look like?
So our delivery is all online. Our tutorials and presentations, depending on what course you're on, are all pre-filmed, so that it just gives us the most amount of flexibility that we can offer. We don't have any enrolment windows open. So learners can enroll at any point. Now, you can probably imagine now's our busiest time, but you can enroll at any point. There was a couple of reasons for that. We wanted to give learners complete flexibility to be able to complete their course at a pace that suited them. Mm-hmm. So we might have somebody that, I had a couple of learners last year enroll. They only had about 10 months, but they were absolutely passionate in art and design and photography, and they decided, actually, at this point, I really want to go to college in September. That's my path now. They didn't know that before, but at that point they decided, actually, I do want to go to college. I want to do something creative and I really want these qualifications. So in the space of 10 months, they got the equivalent of 3 GCSEs doing the art and the photography, and they did it in 10 months' time. And then we've got some learners that are wanting to take things at a much slower pace and take their time through the course, and that's how they're able to access it. So by doing that, it just gives many options and things, and to swap and change it as well. You don't have to complete at the same rate for the whole course. So if you've got something coming up and you need to kind of park it for a bit, maybe you're not feeling very creative and you need to have a break on it, that's absolutely fine. You're not forced into doing something when you're not ready for doing that. And I think we don't give young people enough credit for knowing, in their bodies and how they feel in terms of what they should be doing and when. We're very used to forcing people through a pathway, or forcing three people to complete in a timeline that really doesn't suit them, and it just doesn't work. And we just think that kind of flexible, but yet a positive community atmosphere where everything is hopefully based on kind of positivity. That's our aim anyway. That's our ethos, is all about positivity, and celebrating learners' work, and really, I'm going to say the word positive again, but positive feedback to the learner. I think that's really important as well. Maybe something that they have had lacking in terms of perhaps previous educational providers, whatever that looked like, and they really need that, and they really deserve it. And hopefully they'll be able to feel it, over time.
Particularly important for learners who don't have the confidence in the system for whatever reason, or have been let down by the system. Really important for us as parents, when we're putting people in front of our learners, that we know that they're coming with that mindset of, I'm here to help your young person feel better about themselves. I'm here to lead with, we're setting them up to succeed. We're not setting them up to fail. We're not here to trick them or to test them. We're here to encourage them and empower them and build that confidence at the same time as building that skill set. So important, especially for those children who have maybe experienced emotional-based school avoidance, really, really tricky to find suppliers and providers and educators who get it, who understand that this might take a long time, and they're not going to time out of this, right? They're not going to have like a deadline by which to finish things in order to achieve whatever accreditation or whatever it is that they're working towards.
Exactly. And that's why the flexibility was so important for us. Absolutely.
And there's no exams. You don't use exams at all to assess. It's all portfolio based for all of your qualifications.
100% portfolio based. So
which is so rare now, like in the mainstream system. I know we're getting T levels now,
I know. They always like to throw something a little bit new, don't they, to jazz it all up, reinvent the system. But I'm not sure if I can comment on that. But exams, they have their place, but not with me.
No, and certainly for creative projects, this was always my thing. Like I went down that path, and I was a bit like, right, but I'm doing a theatre studies like GCSE. Why do I need to write? Like I want to do performance. Why am I writing essays about this? I want the performance element of this. So I think it's really important that those of us who have learners who are creatively and practically minded have a way to play to that strength. So they're not being kind of like tested on how good they are at taking an exam, right? They're being given the opportunity to demonstrate their skills and enjoy the process. So,
and another element with our creative qualifications, and that's the art, the photography, and the graphics. It's a past or not yet achieved style of course. So we don't grade. We're not going to be grading your artistic ability. We're going to be helping you on your creative journey. We're going to be giving you advice and feedback to help you develop and build on your skills. You're going to be creating your own portfolio, which, you know, will be able to show your progress from when you started to when you completed. But you're not going to be given a grade. And I think for learners that absolutely need those kind of confidence building sessions, that's quite an important thing as well. And I really enjoy that element of the course. It's quite different, really. I think a lot of people are used to the BTECs where you get a pass merit distinction. But for our creative courses, it's you've either achieved it or you're not yet achieved it.
And then if you haven't yet achieved it, there's some feedback on how to work towards achieving it. It's not just a you've missed it and you're done basically situation. It's this is what you could do to get yourself over that threshold for us to be able to say, yeah, we've done that bit.
Absolutely. And with our sport qualification, which does have a pass merit distinction, you know, we can go backwards and forward as many times as needed. We'll be able to provide that feedback. Some learners say, well, I'm working towards a merit and I'm going to stick to a merit, and that's what I'm happy with. Otherwise, we can just go backwards and forwards with feedback. This is what you've got to do, this your improvements, and they can do that as many times as they wish or as many times as they need to. There's no kind of cut off, right? You're sending it in for submission, you've either got it or you haven't. Absolutely not. They can build on that as they go and have ownership on what they're achieving, whether they want to improve their work or not, whether they're going to stick at the grade they want, or whether they want to push towards the next one. I think that by having that ownership, it relieves a little bit of the stress, rather than coming from a point of always pushing learners to achieve something. I think if they're given the opportunity to choose whether they want to or not, I think that can only be a positive.
100%. And the final thing I want to ask you before we wrap up is, can you talk a little bit about the cost of accessing your services? So how does that work? How do people pay? Do they pay in one go? Do they pay over a month? How does that look? What does that look like for parents and carers, or for parents going to LAs to have it funded?
Lots of different options. So for those learners that are coming through the LAs, most of the parents are the ones that find me. We're becoming more and more well known with LAs around the country. But as I said, it's mostly parents, as you know, who are tirelessly
doing the heavy lifting,
support and help. And they're the ones that have found me, and then they take my course to the LA to see if they can have that as part of their package. And so they can then get in direct contact with me. But we're a small provider. We can do things flexibly. In terms of if you just want to go onto our website and enroll, there are two different options. You can either go through a pay monthly option where the course is broken down in terms of costs. With that, you know, if your plans change, you can cancel at any point with the pay monthly option. So that can help if you're not 100% sure what your plans are, or, you know, life happens, things happen, maybe circumstances change and you don't want to be signed up to 2 years worth of payments. You can cancel that at any point. Mm-hmm. So our courses are starting from £25 a month for a 2-year payment plan, going up to, I think it's £32 a month, again for a 2-year plan. Or you can pay now in one go, and the kind of the admin fees and the card processing fees that we would kind of, I've lost my words today. All right. Basically, the fees that you're saving are passed on, so it's a little bit cheaper if you go for a pay now, which is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, because for those of people who use like payment windows, those of us who take card payments, every time you take a transaction, we pay a fee to the transaction people. The gateway, that's the word. So if you only pay on one transaction, it's cheaper for us, therefore it's cheaper for you, which is why you'll often see people with a pay.
I'm passing on the savings is the succinct way of putting it, and those start from £550 a course starting from.
Ashley's asking in the comments, are you an AP with Notts County Council?
We're not technically an AP.
For people who don't know what an AP is, alternative provision.
But we are able to provide our services in terms of somebody wanting a package.
Yeah. So the best thing to do is for people to reach out to you either through your Facebook page, which people just searched Aced Qualifications. Why have I got a blank with that? Aced Qualifications on Facebook, or go through your website. There's a contact us page right on your website, and they can reach out to you and get some information about how to start the conversation about whether you might be a provider. If parents and carers are self-funding, you can start them straight away. If they need some help with what to say to their LA in terms of securing a personal budget, you can help them with that as well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And a little bit of help and advice. So if you've got any kind of funding, something to think about would be to also see if you can include equipment as well. That's always kind of something that sometimes is not thought about. And so just make sure that you note that down in your request as well, because some of our learners have found that really helpful. And all LAs are different, aren't they, in terms of what they're able to provide. But if you don't ask for it, you definitely won't get. So you might as well put it down there. And if they give you a budget for using any kind of equipment, that's just worth kind of noting as well.
100%. Yeah. And for anyone who's stuck with that, we have got information in our Marble Room, which is our parent carer membership, on how to put together EOTAS packages specifically and how personal budgets work. So, and last thing, what are you working on next? What exciting things have you got in the pipeline? Have you got anything else up your sleeve that you can share with us as a sneaky peek of what's coming?
I don't have any new courses right now up my sleeve. I've promised myself to kind of embed the 4 courses that we've got at the moment. I know I find it so exciting to be able to offer more options, because people come to me all the time, oh, have you thought about this? Or are you going to do this? And I really would love to do them all. But I just can't.
Honestly, I can't tell you that's music to my ears, Debs, because I know we spoke last week and you were like, oh, and I was like, hang on. So that's the correct answer as far as I'm concerned, because I know you really want to get it right for what you're doing now.
I do have freebies coming out, and every year I have a journal, a mindful journal that's available, and also I put together a planner just for the fun of it, because I like designing, and you're able to get those, and I'll have this year's one online this week. I promise. It's in my diary, it's on my to-do list. I'm going to update it and it'll be available, and that's just a freebie that you can download. But if you have any kind of questions, always just shout at me, email, Facebook Messenger. It's not called Messenger anymore, is it? It's Messages. I'm 10 years old, aren't I? Going back. But we do have a prospectus for every single subject that we offer. So again, give me a shout and ask me for the link for the prospectus for the course that you're interested in, or pop over to our website where you can download it, and also a sample module of the course, the creative course as well. Amazing.
Thank you, Debs. It's been lovely to chat to you. I'm sorry I kept saying, now I can't even remember what I used to say. Communication.
I'm not going to say
it. As I start saying it, it'll come out wrong. Thank you for coming and talking about Aced Qualifications. I really want to know where that is in my brain. How's that got embedded in the wrong way? But anyway.
No, that's a new thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, who knows what my brain is. It's doing its own thing right now. I'm just holding on tightly, hoping it'll calm down sooner or later. So please do go and find Debs. The work that she's doing is incredible, and I have absolutely no hesitation in recommending her to our EOTAS community specifically, because I know that she's one of our people and she will do right by you. So her website address is the 3 w's.acedqualifications.co.uk, or if you search Aced Qualifications on Facebook, you'll find your way to her. If you can't find her, ask in one of my groups and I will point you at her. But yeah, thanks, Debs. Thanks for being with us. And for everyone watching live, thanks for being with us. If you're watching on a replay, drop us a replay in the comments so I know that you were here in the future. Good night, everyone.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you for having me.